Why Stoicism still matters today. The philosophy of mental strength. Imagine facing life's toughest challenges, failure, heartbreak, loss, and remaining completely unshaken. No breakdowns, no panic, just unwavering strength. Sounds impossible, but what if I told you there's an ancient philosophy over 2,000 years old that holds the key to mastering your emotions, controlling your mind, and turning adversity into power? This philosophy is Stoicism, one of the most enduring and powerful schools of thought from the ancient world. And here's why it still matters today. 1. The birth of a resilient philosophy. Stoicism wasn't just a theory, it was a way of life. Founded in Athens by Zeno of Citium, it quickly spread to Rome, where it became the philosophy of emperors, generals, and slaves alike. Why? Because it wasn't about abstract ideas. It was about action. It taught people how to face hardship without breaking, how to embrace fate without fear, and how to cultivate inner peace in a chaotic world. Think about Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor who ruled during wars and plagues. He didn't complain. He didn't crumble. Instead, he wrote the Meditations, a journal of his private Stoic thoughts, reminding himself that he alone controlled his mind. Nothing else mattered. Now let me ask you, if an emperor could remain calm while ruling an empire, what's stopping us from mastering our own lives? 2. The core of Stoicism, a timeless blueprint for strength. At its heart, Stoicism teaches one fundamental truth. We don't control what happens to us, only how we respond. You lost your job? You can crumble or adapt. Someone betrayed you? You can be consumed by rage or let go. Life feels unfair. You can complain or rise above it. Epictetus, a former slave turned philosopher, said it best. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. This isn't just philosophy, it's mental resilience training. Modern psychologists now call this cognitive reframing, the ability to see setbacks as opportunities. But the Stoics knew this thousands of years ago. Imagine if you applied this mindset today. How much stress, anger, and fear could you eliminate? 3. Why Stoicism still matters in the modern world. In an age of distractions, outrage, and anxiety, Stoicism is more relevant than ever. It teaches emotional mastery. Instead of being a slave to anger, fear, or jealousy, you become the master of your emotions. It shows you how to embrace discomfort, to seek growth rather than escape. It reminds you that true power lies in discipline, not in external success. Look at the world today: constant stress, social pressure, fear of failure. But what if, instead of reacting, you remain calm, logical, and unshaken? That's what the Stoics did, and that's what we can learn from them. But here's the thing: Stoicism wasn't just about strength of character. It was also about understanding the mind itself, what it is, how it works, and how we can use it to our advantage. In the next episode, we'll go even deeper. What did the Stoics believe about the mind? Is it just a brain function or something more? And how did they explain emotions, thoughts, and perception? Stay tuned, because once you understand the Stoic philosophy of mind, you'll never see your thoughts the same way again. The Stoic secret to mastering your mind. How ancient wisdom predicted modern science. What if I told you that your mind is not some mysterious, untouchable force, but a machine that follows rules just like physics? The ancient Stoics believed exactly that. Long before modern psychology, they built one of the most advanced theories of the mind, one that explained thoughts, emotions, and even self-mastery in ways that shockingly align with modern cognitive science. But here's the real question. If the Stoics already understood how the mind works, Does that mean they also discovered the secret to controlling it? Let's dive in. 1. The mind is not some ghostly force. It's physical. For centuries, people believed the mind was something mystical, separate from the body, like a soul floating inside us. But not the Stoics. They rejected that idea. Instead, they believed that the mind or soul was physical, a real, tangible force that followed natural laws, just like fire, water, or wind. They called this force pneuma, a type of fiery breath that infused the body. Think of it like this. Imagine a flame spreading through a candle. The flame is the mind, spreading its awareness through the body. This wasn't just poetic, it was a radical shift. By treating the mind as something real, not supernatural, the Stoics set the stage for scientific psychology long before it even existed. And here's where it gets even more interesting. 2. How the Stoics explain thought and emotion. The Stoics believe that the mind works like a command center, sitting right in your chest. Yes, they thought the brain was just a cooling system for the heart. Here's how they explain thinking and feeling. 1. First, your senses gather information, what you see, hear, touch. 2. That information is sent to your ruling center. They called it the hegemonicon. 3. Your mind interprets the data, creating thoughts and emotions. But here's where it gets revolutionary. The Stoics didn't believe emotions just happened to you. They believed emotions were actually judgments, thoughts you choose to accept or reject. For example, someone insults you. Most people react with anger, but according to Stoicism, you're not actually angry because of their words. You're angry because your mind has judged those words as an attack. That means if you change the judgment, you change the emotion. This is the foundation of cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, today. Modern psychology teaches that by changing your thoughts, you can control your emotions. But the Stoics figured this out over 2,000 years ago. 3. Why this matters. The key to self-mastery. Now you might be thinking, okay, but how does this help me in real life? Simple. If emotions are just judgments, then fear isn't something you're stuck with. It's just a faulty judgment of risk. Jealousy isn't natural. It's a mistaken belief that someone else's success takes away from yours. Anger isn't automatic. It's a choice based on how you perceive the situation. The Stoics believe that by training the mind, you could override these faulty judgments and gain complete mastery over yourself. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king, said it best. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. And this is where true Stoic resilience begins. But there's one more thing we need to understand. The Stoics believed that thoughts and language were deeply connected. They argued that how we think depends on how we structure our ideas, the words, the logic, the reasoning behind them. In our next episode, we'll explore how the Stoics analyzed thought itself, how they broke down perception, reasoning, and even decision-making into a logical system of mental discipline. If you're ready to unlock the next level of Stoic mastery, make sure to subscribe, because once you understand how the Stoics structured thought, you'll never look at your mind the same way again. Title: How the Stoics Mastered Thought and Language. The Secret to Mental Clarity. Ever felt like your mind is cluttered? Like your thoughts are tangled, emotions are overwhelming, and decisions feel impossible? The Stoics had a solution. They didn't just believe in controlling emotions, they mastered thought itself. They believed that our ability to think and reason isn't just a tool, it's the foundation of everything we experience. And here's the twist. The way you structure your thoughts determines how you experience reality. Let's break it down. 1. Thought and language, the blueprint of the mind. The Stoics believed that thought and language are deeply connected. To them, thinking wasn't just some abstract process. It followed a logical structure. just like a well-formed argument. And this had massive implications. If your thoughts are chaotic, your emotions will be chaotic. If your thoughts are rational, your mind will be calm and disciplined. The Stoics created a system to analyze thoughts, helping them separate what is true versus what is opinion, what is necessary versus what is just mental noise, what is within our control versus what is not. This wasn't just philosophy, it was training for the mind, and it led them to one of their most powerful ideas. 2. The Stoic doctrine of perception, fantasia. The Stoics believed that every thought begins with a perception, what they called fantasia. Imagine this. You see a person frowning at you. Instantly, your mind jumps to a conclusion. They must be angry at me. This conclusion leads to an emotion, anxiety, frustration, or even anger back at them. But here's the problem. Is that conclusion even true? Maybe they're having a bad day. Maybe they're lost in thought. Maybe they're not even thinking about you at all. The Stoics taught that most of our suffering comes from false interpretations of reality. So how did they fix this? With a mental checkpoint system. 1. First, recognize the perception. What am I experiencing? 2-Second, question the judgment. Is this thought based on fact or assumption? 3-Third, correct the judgment. What is a more rational way to see this? This is exactly what modern cognitive therapy teaches today. Challenge negative thoughts before they take over. The Stoics were doing mental debugging centuries before modern psychology even existed. 3. Rational thinking as a superpower. The Stoics believed that our thoughts should be structured like an argument, logical, clear, and precise. That's why they developed a system of logic to strengthen their reasoning. Here's an example of Stoic reasoning in action. False thought. If I fail at something, I am a failure. Stoic counterthought. Failure is an event, not an identity. I can learn and improve. False thought. If someone disrespects me, I must fight back to prove my worth. Stoic counterthought. Their disrespect is their judgment, not my reality. My worth is not defined by others. By structuring their thinking this way, the Stoics trained themselves to avoid unnecessary emotional suffering, see reality as it truly is, not as their emotions distort it, make better decisions under pressure. Imagine applying this today. How many arguments, misunderstandings, and regrets could you avoid just by thinking clearer? This is why Stoicism isn't just about emotional control. It's about mental discipline. And here's where it gets even deeper. The Stoics didn't just think rationally for personal growth. They also believed that logic, reason, and language were the key to taking action and changing the world. Which brings us to our next topic. Title: How the Stoics Mastered Emotions and Decision-Making. The ultimate mental discipline. Imagine standing in the middle of chaos, people yelling, emotions running high, pressure crushing down on you. What would you do? Would you react impulsively? Would you break down? Or would you remain calm, in control, unshaken? For the Stoics, this was the ultimate test of strength. Not physical power, but mental mastery. And the secret to passing that test? Mastering emotions and decision-making with pure rationality. Let's dive into how they did it. 1. The Stoic approach to emotions? Control, not suppression. One of the biggest misconceptions about Stoicism is that it teaches people to suppress emotions, to be cold, detached, unfeeling. But that's not true. The Stoics didn't believe in eliminating emotions. They believed in understanding and mastering them. Emotions don't control you. You control them. They taught that emotions come from judgments, meaning if you change the way you judge a situation, you change the way you feel about it. Example: you're rejected from a job. The immediate reaction? Frustration, anger, self-doubt. But what if instead you judged it differently? This is not a failure. This is an opportunity to improve. I am not powerless. I can prepare better and try again. That shift immediately reduces suffering. This technique is now backed by modern psychology. It's called cognitive reframing, but the Stoics figured it out over 2,000 years ago. Seneca said it best: "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." And this is the key. If emotions are just judgments, we can train ourselves to judge better. So how do we do that? 2. The 4-step Stoic formula for emotional mastery. When faced with an emotionally charged situation, the Stoics followed a simple but powerful process. Step 1. Pause before reacting. The first instinct is never the best response. Take a breath. Observe. Step 2. Identify the judgment. Ask yourself, what belief is causing this emotion? Is it true, or am I making assumptions? Step 3. Challenge and reframe it. What is a more rational, productive way to see this? Step 4. Respond with reason, not emotion. Take action only after clear, logical thinking. This method prevents overreactions, stops emotional spirals, and helps you make powerful decisions, even under pressure. And speaking of decisions, 3. Stoic decision-making, the art of choosing wisely. Life is a series of decisions. Every choice shapes your future. But most people make decisions emotionally, reacting to fear, pressure, or impulse. The Stoics, they did the opposite. They followed rational decision-making principles to ensure they made the best possible choices. Here's their 3-rule system for making wise decisions. Rule number 1, focus on what you control. Marcus Aurelius' principle: don't waste energy on what you can't change. Before making a decision, ask, is this within my control? If yes, act. If no, accept and move on. Rule number 2, think long-term, not short-term. The Stoics called this viewing from above, seeing life like an eagle looking down. Before making a choice, ask, will this decision matter in a year, in 5 years? Am I choosing short-term pleasure over long-term growth? Rule number 3, let logic, not emotion, lead. Seneca taught, a wise man is not led by emotion, but by reason. Before making a decision, write down, what are the logical pros and cons? Am I choosing based on facts or just feelings? By following these rules, the Stoics trained themselves to make calm, calculated choices, even in high-pressure situations. 4. The Stoic mindset in action. Let's apply this to a real-world example. Scenario: someone insults you in public. Your emotional instinct: anger, retaliation. Stoic response: pause. Ask, does their insult actually harm me? Or am I choosing to be offended? Reframe, their words are just air. I give them power only if I react. Decide, walk away with dignity instead of lowering yourself to their level. This is Stoicism in action. Emotional discipline plus rational decision-making equals unshakable resilience. And here's the best part. The Stoics didn't just apply this mindset to personal life. They used it to lead nations, command armies, and face life's greatest challenges with absolute clarity, which brings us to our next episode. How the Stoics applied their wisdom to leadership, relationships, and everyday life, turning philosophy into real-world power. If you want to master the art of resilience, focus, and decision-making, stay tuned, because the next lesson could change the way you live forever. How the Stoics use their wisdom in life and leadership. The ultimate guide to Stoic living. What does it take to lead with wisdom? To handle relationships, challenges, and power without losing yourself? The Stoics weren't just thinkers. They were leaders, warriors, and emperors who applied their philosophy to every part of life, from running an empire to dealing with personal hardships. And here's the surprising truth. Stoicism isn't just a mindset, it's a way of living. Let's explore how the Stoics turned their philosophy into real-world power. 1. The Stoic approach to leadership and influence. Leadership isn't about power. It's about control over yourself before controlling others. The greatest Stoic leader? Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor who ruled over the most powerful empire in the world while battling wars, plagues, and betrayals. And yet, he never let power corrupt him. Why? Because he followed 3 Stoic leadership principles. 1. Lead by example, not by force. The Stoics believe true leaders don't demand respect, they earn it through discipline, fairness, and action. Marcus Aurelius never indulged in luxury. He lived like a soldier, showing his men that he shared their struggles. 2. Control the mind, control the world. The Stoics believe that a leader's worst enemy is their own emotions. Instead of reacting, they train themselves to pause, reflect, and act rationally. Example: when Marcus Aurelius was betrayed, he didn't seek revenge. He sought justice, not anger. 3. Serve a higher purpose, not ego. A Stoic leader isn't driven by personal gain, but by the greater good. Epictetus said, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." In modern terms, don't just talk about values, live them. 2. The Stoic way of handling relationships. The Stoics weren't just concerned with personal strength. They also mastered human relationships. Rule number 1, accept people as they are. People will be rude, selfish, dishonest. Instead of resenting them, expect it. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you wake up, remind yourself, today I will meet ungrateful, arrogant, and deceitful people." The key, don't take it personally. Their actions are their burden, not yours. Rule number 2, respond with virtue, not emotion. When someone insults or wrongs you, you have 2 choices. React with anger and lose control. Respond with wisdom and rise above it. Seneca's advice, the best revenge is not to be like them. Rule number 3, focus on what you give, not what you get. Modern relationships are full of expectations. They should treat me better. I deserve more appreciation. The Stoics flip this. Give without attachment. Expect nothing in return. Why? Because true peace comes from self-sufficiency, not dependency on others. 3. The daily Stoic routine, how to live Stoicism every day. The Stoics didn't just think about philosophy, they practiced it daily. Here's how you can too. Morning reflection, set your intentions. Start your day by asking, what challenges will I face today? How will I respond with wisdom, not emotion? Midday, check in. Control what you can, let go of the rest. Throughout the day, whenever you feel stress, pause and ask, is this within my control? If not, let it go. Night reflection, learn from the day. Before sleeping, review. Where did I act wisely today? Where did I let emotions take over? Marcus Aurelius did this every night, writing in his journal to train his mind. This daily practice turns Stoicism from a concept into a lifestyle. The Stoic legacy, why this matters today. The world today is chaotic, unpredictable, and full of distractions. But here's the truth. You don't control the economy. You don't control how people treat you. You don't control life's unexpected challenges. But you do control your mind, your actions, and your responses. And that's everything. This is why Stoicism isn't just ancient wisdom. It's the ultimate mental framework for modern life. Final takeaway. The Stoic challenge for you. If you've made it this far, you're already on the path to Stoic mastery. But philosophy means nothing without action. So here's your challenge. For the next 7 days, practice these Stoic habits. Day 1. When something frustrates you, pause and ask, is this within my control? Day 2. When someone insults you, respond with calm, not anger. Day 3. Before making a decision, ask, am I choosing short-term comfort or long-term wisdom? Day 4. Start a Stoic journal. Write one lesson you learned each day. Day 5. Expect challenges and face them with strength. Day 6. Give without expecting anything in return. Day 7. End the week by reflecting. How has this changed me? If you commit to this, you won't just learn Stoicism, you'll live it. And that's where real transformation begins. So if you're ready to become unshakable, hit subscribe, because the journey is just beginning.